moment. So let me just hit record here. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining this. I'm like so honored to be leading all of you in this. And I know that you all have like very unique things about you that I know social media is like so ready to hear. It's so ready. The world's ready to hear you. And so I know each of you, because I've followed a little bit of each of you throughout the time that I've been on social media, and I've grown multiple accounts on there and multiple impacts. And so before I got into today, I was just going to go over very like basic 101 strategies that would really guide all of you to understand how to show up more authentically on social media, and also with more ease, and things that are going to allow people to start seeing that you're, I don't want to say necessarily an expert, but you're someone who's passionate about what you're doing. You're someone that people want to be involved in a community or a tribe that's around you. And so before I did that though, I just wanted to go around and I just want everyone to introduce themselves, say their name, how they view social media, and like what their impact should be, and then maybe your greatest fear of social media, and then I'll just go into the few things that I had for the day.
Great.
Do you want to go first, Esteban?
Sure. My name's Esteban, and I do public art. So I use social media to mostly promote just my artwork. So mostly my paintings, sometimes my process, and I've gotten a pretty good response from all my friends. But I'm also quite afraid of like just sharing my personal private life on social media. So that makes me not use it as maybe effectively as I think I can.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful you shared, and I'm super excited for the world to see your art and your process, because I can feel it's extraordinary. So thank you for sharing. And yeah, I'm super excited. And then Gabby or Stephanie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi. I'm having a little problem with my internet connection. It's a bit unstable, so if I drop out, that's why. Yeah, I've recently made a shift where I'm going to do whatever it takes to help people, and if that's stepping up and being seen and all those things, I'm prepared for the haters. I'm prepared for all of that. That's really cool. I think. You know, and help people, but with my self-nurturing process in place as well. But I think where tradition of knowing myself struggle is with the technology side of things, and also, you know, I've just been on Facebook. I haven't explored our platforms because of those hang-ups of learning how things work and that kind of thing. So I think one of the reasons that I'm here is to open my mind to what platforms might be best for me, and also really love what you said about how to structure posts and how to write, because writing is really flowing. I write from a novel perspective rather than something shorter and pithy, and so I really enjoyed the post. So I thought that would be something great into. Thank me.
I love it. No, thank you so much. And then also, if there's background noise, I know there was something there, just try to, if someone else is talking, just put your thing on mute. So that way it's not loud when someone else is talking. Anyway, Stephanie, hello. Did you want to join video, or you just want to join audio?
All right, I'll join video.
Okay. The other unicorn. There she is.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
So, I'm so happy you're here. So
Thank you.
Said the first part is just introducing ourselves, what we believe our impact is here to be, and our biggest fear about using social media.
Yeah. So obviously, my name's Stephanie. My impact is really to help heal lives. So I really, right now, I'm going to start off with coaching emotionally abused women and really helping heal themselves, and all of their relationships will, manifest into healthy, loving, fun, happy relationships. And then from there, I see a lot of, there's a larger vision there for a lot deeper impact. But that's a huge goal, right? And I think that my biggest fear of social media is showing up consistently. It is also getting the message right. So I gave my work my notice, and so like there's a sense of urgency here, right, to like get clients, but at the same time I don't want that financial need to muddy the service. Like I want to serve people. I'm here to serve people. The monetary aspect is just a piece of that. In reciprocation, it's not for the purpose of financial gain. So I want to make sure that my message isn't getting muddied and I'm not stressing out about that, and I'm really serving my aligned clients.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, so this is awesome for the first day. This is literally everything I planned for the first day. So I'm super excited. I'm going to just go through, I have 5 things when I put this first day. And this first day, I basically just want to do like social media basics 101, like very basic 101. And since you guys were talking, I actually had them in a different order. But I'm going to rearrange them right now in the call because of kind of how you all said. And this is the beauty of being able to tap into your feelings and your artistic ability of our heart, because we really get to be present with our experiences and the people that we're around to best serve them. So I'll even be vulnerable and share that. So I'm really, really excited about this. I'm excited about all of you joining. And the biggest thing that I want to say about social media is some of you may or may not know, but I basically left with $5,000 in my bank account when I was in New Zealand, left a 6-figure corporate job, and I was like, I'm going to travel the world. I'll start an online business. And basically, that's what I've done. And I've been about 18 months now. And I've learned so much. I've done so many platforms, speaking events. And I've learned that social media really, the biggest thing to start to shift your mind with it is that it's a tool to create freedom. And what I mean by that is when you start to tap into thinking of people that are in rural areas, or let's say even in third world countries or developing nation, which I've had clients that are in developing quote unquote nations, or I have clients there that are working on amazing things. Social media will connect you to a massive amount of people that would be no way possible for you just being in one location. And so for the way to start thinking of social media is to think of it as, or feel into it as an online incubator of people that are waiting to be awakened by you, or that are waiting to be empowered, inspired, whatever it is. And even think of like high level CEOs. I have a lot of friends of mine that are, 10 million, 100 million that are on there, and they're not necessarily kind of maybe going in the way of like, let me create this small thing or this small thing, but they are getting inspiration from it. And you could be that inspiration. You could be the consultant that goes into the large corporation. Like that is something that a lot of these, even political leaders, I was just over in London, and I was talking with the High Commissioner of Bangladesh, and I'm working on her with some social media things. And there's people all the time like this that are looking, and that are advocates, that are actually like doing infrastructure in the world, that are looking to people like us via social media, because they're not finding them in job applications. That's not the new way that jobs are being done anymore. So it's really important just to start to shift your focus of, I'm not using social media, or it's social media is bad, it's negative, it's whatever that is, like all those beliefs. Any of those things that I truly believe that you see about social media is bad, I would ask yourself the first thing is, why is this belief, why is this reflection through social media showing up in my hologram? What have I not released in myself? What have I not looked in myself? What have I not honored myself for this negativity, for this thing I don't desire to be in my field? Because social media is the quickest way, the quickest accelerator for basically, whatever you want to say, God, the universe, angels, to speak through to us. It is the quickest confirmation of like known technology. Like, is there really a way you think that a hologram has randomly placed all of us together? Do you really think that it was a coincidence that somehow, whatever that it was, like this person that was negative, or this friend you need to get rid of, like that showed up on social media? Like that's just how the algorithm worked? That would be impossible. It'd be nearly impossible. It's based on, like, there is some things to it, but the exact moment and precision of everything. So start to think of everything that you don't desire about social media, like all the negative beliefs, all the things you have about it. And that's step number 1, is like all the negative beliefs, all the things you have that are bad about social media. Start to flip that into, okay, social media is negative. I would ask myself, where am I negative? I would ask myself, where am I not committed to my vision? Or, I can't seem to find people that I want to connect with. Where am I not taking the action to connect with people that I want with? Where am I not taking action to reach out in Messenger, or to DM someone, or to post a live video, or to post my artwork, or to say, hey everyone, I want to let you know I'm super passionate about blah, blah, blah. Does anyone else know? Is anyone else passionate about that? Hey everyone, I'm super passionate about writing. I'm super passionate about whatever it is. I want to maybe host an art show. I want to have this meetup where we just have a virtual coffee together on Mondays. Something small like that, that's going to shift the vibration into the people that you do desire. And social media is the quickest accelerator for that. However, you have to shift the belief that social media can be leveraged in that tool that will allow you to meet people and literally create people into your reality you could have possibly never knew existed. Does that make sense? Good. Yeah, and if you have any questions, anyone, you can pop on and ask me during it. So step number 1 is definitely with your belief system with social media. So there's like times when I first started, like I would literally write on paper or write on your computer. I probably have written at this point in my life, I'm not even joking, probably 200 pages of beliefs about social media, which have made me this. Like, I believe social media this. I believe that I can do this with social media. I believe I'm going to meet these type of people on social media. I believe that like line after line after line. And if you can't like fully believe it, like you should fully like believe it in your body. Like you're like, oh, I'm writing this, but I don't believe it. Then be like, okay, why do I not believe this on social media? What inside of myself is afraid to show up? What inside of myself is blocking social media? What inside, like start to figure it out and ask yourself different questions. Because I promise you, once you fully like embody the feeling, like you're like, okay, like I really feel like I'm excited for social media. Then your life starts to accelerate. Then your mission, whatever goals that you have to impact start to accelerate. So that's the first thing that I really wanted to tap into. The second thing I was going to tap into is just some social media. Well, it's me third, but I'm going to put it here. The second thing that I really want to touch on is just all your videos. If you're doing videos or pictures, if you can, you want it to be, videos, you want them to be horizontal. So it's like the sun. So even if you're doing it on your phone, like I'll take mine, you just want to have it this way. So if you're doing it on your computer, or even if you're not, you're like shooting a recorded video, always horizontal. Why? Is because when you go, you're a lot of things that you're using right now in your business, you don't realize it, but you're going to reuse it like maybe 20 years later to like help someone else or there's something. All of like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, their advertising algorithms doesn't work well with the other way. And like YouTube, it's better for that way. All SEO, like, I mean, this is stuff farther down the road, but just know that anything you can with video, always do it horizontal. That's a great tool just to have. The other thing that I like to say as well, these are just some very basic tips, when you're doing videos, it's really great to start the video, like when you have the, when you're calling it something, have it with a question. So, and very basic, like we try to get like very creative sometimes. Like I even know, like I created something that was like, oh, like how to create, there was like conscious media, and that was something we did, and people didn't even know what conscious media was. And even though it was so normal to me, and maybe even normal to other people, most people were like, I don't even know what consciousness is. And I was like, whoa, I've gone so far to the way of like my base minimum. I forgot the breakdown. And so every video or every post, sometimes when you're just starting, it's really good to start with a question, just like, hey everyone, you know, how are you doing today? It could even be like, I'm just curious, how's everyone doing today? I wanted to start my day off with like positive vibes, you know, sending you some. Like that could even just be something to show that you're showing up online consistently. But if you're doing like, have you been through abuse as a woman? Are you truly an artist, but you're afraid to call yourself an artist? Like things like this, like you know, these are very basic things these are real things. And for Gabby, like, do you have that natural, like oracle view? Do you have that natural expression that you desire to share, and you're afraid people aren't going to understand you? You're afraid people are going to reject you. Those types of things. Like you want to make it very, very simple of like, do you know how to do this? Like something you went through to start your story, to start your journey. People are like, oh my gosh, yeah. So that right away, you're getting people that already know it, and you're not going to be dealing with people who are like, I don't know what you're talking about. So the clearer the question, when you can like do a video or do a post or do whatever, the better it's going to be to like get people that are magnetizing towards you who know what you're talking about, instead of you having to re-explain things to people who are probably never going to be the person that is going to be under your social movement or your mission. So that's really important. The other thing that I really wanted to share, and I'm going to do this as a breakdown. And this is really, that was those were like the step number 2. I combined it, or it was step number 3, but I put it to 2 because of what everyone said. So these are just some basics just to think of. So if you're like overwhelmed with like, oh my God, what do I post on social media? Or what do I, whatever, just start to think of like, okay, what basic question can I ask? What is the basic thing about my vision or my mission that I can just like post as a question and then write my content under that? So the other thing I was going to say, writing content or doing a video, it's very, very, very similar to just a story. Like it's very similar to how you and I are talking right now, but we tend to overthink it because we're like, oh my God, it has to be perfect. It needs to be written. When like reality is people want, like people love imperfection. That took me a long time to really understand. Like a lot of times all of us were with me, like our biggest thing is we want to be like strive to be perfect and we're overachievers and we're like, oh my God, like, you know, if my like 2 cents isn't like right where it's supposed to be in my wallet, like, oh my God, someone's gonna like come bash me. And so just remember, like with social media, the more authentic you are, the more real you are of like, okay, there's actually an airplane flying over me right now, so I'm just gonna pause, or whatever that it is. Like people resonate with that because that's how life goes. Like achieving to be perfect is what the world has put on us, and our fulfillment comes as guides and facilitators when we are allowing others to be vulnerable and in their imperfection. So the process to write things, or when you're doing a live, is you want to remember, like I said, you're the process that you're taking people on. People love to go through processes or love to go on journeys. Your natural process for something, like I said, is someone else's. Like they need like 1, 2, 3. Like for me to go on Facebook Live, or for me to go on ClickFunnels, or for me to go on like all these different things, like that's such a base normal to me. Like I don't like, you know, I'll sometimes be with my friends and I'm like replying to someone. They're like, did you just reply that fast? I'm like, oh yeah, it's just so normal. They're like, and I'm like, oh wow, I forgot. Like people have forgotten how to engage. Like, so start to think of your process. What's the question you're asking, your video or your thing? And in the process, like what you might think is like is like a normal process. It's not normal. Try to think, okay, when I first started, like when I knew nothing about this, what did I have to learn? Like who was my first mentor? What was the first YouTube video I watched? And literally go to that to break it down. So the thing in your writing is you want to start to look at, okay, in this writing that I'm going to write, this is the question that I'm asking. From the question that I'm asking, I'm going to then create a relatable story, or I don't really resonate with the word pain point. I know a lot of marketers will use that. I don't really love that. I really want to connect with their heart. I want to connect with their soul, like whatever that may mean. Like whether that's art, like you're an artist, you may feel like you're in a relationship right now and you're not receiving attention, or someone's saying this to you and you think that it's normal. I'm here to tell you that that is abuse. That is not normal. That's like a process that you're breaking down of like, you've now learned that or something with the artistic ability that you have, Esteban, of like, okay, like step number 1, decide if it's painting or if it's clay or if it's like, there's that, like that would be like step 1 of even any artistic journey. Like you have one thing. So when you're asking the question, ask the question, create a relatable story. From the relatable story that they're probably feeling, a limiting belief around. So the limiting belief might be like they're scared to show up on social media, or they're afraid to admit something to themselves, or they are afraid to use their voice out of fear of rejection. There could be multiple when you're sharing the story. Then the end of that, you're going to have like a call to action, or like, you know, like this, leave an emoji, or whatever it is, to get people engaged. So every post, that's how you want to kind of relate. It's like, okay, you have like a question, you're evoking a process, or you're sharing a journey with someone, and then you're giving like a call to action. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's like very basic, like 101, super simple, so you don't have to overthink it. Okay, so that was that one. And the other thing that I wanted to do, that I really wanted to talk about with this one, is believe that your experiences and knowledge add value. So this was something that caught me up for a while. I would go on YouTube, or I'd go on Instagram, or I'd go on Facebook, and I'd watch all these live videos. I'd watch all these gurus, all these people, and like I'd listen to what they were saying, or I'd even listen to other people, and then sometimes be like, oh my God, that sounded really good. Like that activated in me to share something. And so I would literally be sharing a story based off of somebody else's, like it was my story, but I got activated from someone else. So when you're doing this process, like you believe in social media is good, you're starting to ask questions, you're starting to share a process or share a journey, and you're creating a call to action. you want to make sure that you believe that your experiences are adding value. You're not getting activated by just someone else's experiences, and then that's the story that you're sharing. Does that make sense? Esteban?
Can you rephrase it then?
Yeah. So let's say I'll give you an example. Like, let's say if you're watching TV, or let's say if you're watching like a YouTube channel, like a new artistic artist type of process or technique was the word I'm looking for. And then from that video, you're like, okay, now I'm going to go do a video on this new technique, but you haven't yet fully gone and tried the technique and done the process and done the experience yourself. You're just trying to basically take another person's experiences, and you may have learned a new technique in your life, but it wasn't that one, and then you're regurgitating that, hoping that this process will work. It will not work.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense? We all can get caught in it. Like, I'm not saying, like, I think it's something like, I even heard Casey Adams, who's like 18 years old, on a podcast, and he was saying, like, my biggest thing is always tune in. It's like, is this me, or am I like repeating the Grant Cardones or the whatever? Because like, these are people he's around. So it's something we all have to look at. And I just say it's really believe before posting anything, like just making sure like, okay, is this my posting, or did I just get inspired by a random thing I saw and then just randomly write and regurgitate what they did, instead of being like, oh, what's my process? What's my journey? And I think that's really important, because the process I just gave is not going to be will not work. It will 0% work if it's not you believing in your experiences and your knowledge like has it. So that's really, really important. Let me see. Okay, and another big thing is like to say in the process, this is a question that I had. Sorry, I moved this around. But and Gabby, does this make sense to you? I want to make sure, Gabby.
Yeah, really good stuff, Colleen.
Okay, we got a couple more. Okay, so just make sure with that. And if you do not believe, like you're like, oh, Colleen, like I'm kind of writing the story, but I don't really believe it. Like, yeah, or I don't believe it's going to be impactful. I'm like fear of being rejected or whatever that it is that's coming up for you. Again, I go back to what's your belief system around social media. Because if your belief system was truly in like, this is freedom, this is like a crowd of people, I could be changing the trajectory of someone's life by them reading this, by them seeing that they have it available different for them. They could get out of a relationship. They could be an artist if they want. Or here is like the thing to actually share that they're an artist, like those are things like start to look, if you find yourself in a fear or like paralyzation, like, okay, I don't feel like this is like coming easily, go back to what's your belief about the social media. And then the second question would be, okay, am I actually sharing someone else's thing and not my true experience? So those are the two questions to ask yourself when you have those feelings come up, and doing that. So the other thing I was going to say is not every single post has to be a call to action. Like sometimes you can just simply add, if you desire, like a value add post, I call it, or a life transforming or activating post or video. And then just at the end, instead of having a call to action, just have a resolution, like, I remember the time, blah, 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 whatever it was. Or, have you ever felt completely alone? I remember the time when I was doing whatever. I remember this. And the resolution was, I took the first step to follow my dreams by blah, 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 blah. You could just say like, put your hand up if you're ready to follow your dreams. Like, it doesn't have to be something like all like that. Like, it can are always a call to action. Sometimes it can just be simply like, I just felt like sharing my journey with you, and I invite you to share your journey with me if you're feeling called. Okay, so number one that we went through was belief system around social media. What is it? Number two was the horizontal and asking questions, like having questions be the video of it. And when you always start a video, the other thing I was going to say, these are two other social media basics, or if you do your first big post or whatever, like always say your name in the beginning of every video. And just say what you're passionate about. Like what each of you said here, like, hey, I'm super passionate about this. Like my thing is still freedom, like love and freedom. From the very first video I've ever done, like literally the first video was all about love and freedom. Like I was like, I just want to have more people have love in this world. It's always been that. So like, even if it sounds silly, but always state it on every video that you do, because it just creates consistency. So title things with questions, especially on video. You don't always have to title things, do like title things when you're writing, but questions usually really help when you're doing it, or like have like a statement, like a blog post. Like 5 things to look for if you are in a healthy relationship. 5 things to look for starting your artistic career. 5 things to look for when becoming an oracle, or leveraging education. Like, you can do it that way, so you have bullet points as well. You're still taking people on a process, and then call to action at the end. I put the process, so we went through that. The process are a journey for people to go on. Yeah, your normal state is someone else's process. So like I said, always think of like things, like even I forget, like working out. I'm not even like a health person, and like my friends are like, where did you learn that? And I'm like, oh, I just did this. Like, and that's like my normal workout thing. And so just remember like just small things like that. And then the last thing that I put on that's really gonna help a lot, so it's not like super overwhelming and it's like, oh my gosh, is just commit when you're just starting. Just commit, whether it's either 1 time a week or 1 time like a day, like whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever the momentum you're desiring to create with your freedom, with your impact, with your social movement. Just to sit down and be like, okay, this is what I'm launching. Like and we're going to go over offerings and creating content consistently tomorrow and the next day, but I'm just sharing this as like a basic 101, is that you want to just sit down and be like, okay, so, August 13th or August 15th, whatever that it is, I'm going to launch this thing. And whether that's like a monthly membership, or you're just like, I'm going to have, or, it could be Friday, Friday I'm going to launch, a private Facebook group, or I'm going to have a Voxer group of women that we're like constantly speaking or talking or whatever that it is. Sit down 1 time a week or 1 time a day and start just go, okay, here's when I'm going to check social media. It's going to be at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. I'm going to post 3 times this week. I'm going to post 3 pictures or 2 pictures in a video, or 1 thing off YouTube that, someone else did, but it goes, with what I'm talking about to show others, people, whatever that it is. But sit down and just create like that one thing. So you're not always like, I need to create something. I need to create some content. I need to create. Actually allow yourself to be like, okay, this week, this is what I'm launching. Here's the 3 different things I have going on, or whatever that it is. And here's the content, or here's the processes that I'm going to speak about or relay that go towards what I'm offering or go towards what I'm creating. So that way you're not always like, I have to create and figure it out. You have like more of a focus point of, okay, like here's a beautiful picture I took, or, I'm on a walk right now and there's a beautiful sunset, and I already know that I need to post 3 times this week or 4 times this week, and I know what I need to post about, but I just haven't captured the footage yet or the whatever yet. Like, it gives your mind just a bit of more focus instead of being like, okay, today I woke up and I know I have to create content and I have like this launch that's going on and with all the mind things running in the back. So that really helps. When I first started, I was doing probably like once a week. Now I usually have where once a week I sit down and I plan like my whole month like in advance, and then I have different launches that are going on. And then every day I try to only check my social media 2 times a day. But that's like very basic 101. And the other thing I was going to say, Gabby, I know you talked about this, is pick 1 social media. Just pick 1. So Gabby, for Gabby specifically, because I know her, I would start with Facebook, because you already have a lot of people on there that know you and like you. Stephanie, I think with you as well, I think I would start with Facebook. Samantha, who's going to be joining this, like she's going to be watching some replay, I would think I'm going to tell her I would look at Instagram for her. And Esteban, I really want to see some of your artwork or what you're looking to do. So if you want to message me, because I want to debate between Instagram or Facebook. Or do you have Instagram?
Yeah, I have Instagram and Facebook. And I guess I just want to clarify that I'm also trying to speak about like the environment and getting people excited about, taking care of the earth through my art. And I think that's more important than boosting my career, but that's a side note.
Yes, and I love that. And one thing I would say is that, what if you could have both simultaneously, where the more that you the more that you are talking about the environment, and the more that you're sharing your art and how art is what's going to impact the environment, or like using sustainable artistic stuff, that's what activates people. That's actually going to grow a tribe of people around you who care about sustainability, who want to actually grow artists. They just didn't know it was possible to do both. What if you were the advocate for that?
Yeah, sweet.
So just start to, but those are small mind things. Like, that was a belief. Those are small mind things. You just have to start correcting yourself in those moments, because that was a separation between you and social media. And you want to recognize social media is the tool to accelerate freedom. Like, think of the person right now that's living in a rural place. They may have had 200, they've only known 200 people their whole life. and then they're on Instagram and they see a hashtag that you did about sustainable art, and they clicked on it, and now you just changed the whole trajectory of what their life could have been.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, this is really
I'm not
helpful.
saying it happens every moment, every time, but I mean, there's so many men that I have that are like, what are they, like 16, 17, 14, that are really good, like not in a weird way, but they are like, I want to help women in the Middle East. I'm so serious about it. I don't think that, and they've been following my content for like 2 years now. And even though they're not, like, I'll talk with them like, how's your thing going? How's school going? You know, and one of my clients, she's 16 years old, and we have her working for like the UN. Like these are, and she's in Jordan. Like these are things that I can't make up, and I would never have been able to get those things if it wasn't for social media. So just start to look at those small separations, because since we're in America, we have been programmed like career, so we can't do this, and look at social media as like the new unity of the whole planet.
Wonderful.
So that's what I had for today, but I want to make sure, do you guys have any questions? I want to be available for you with questions. I want to make it super basic, super easy. And you can practice your first post if you want, like Samantha did in the group. Or if you like want to share it on your profile and then share it in there, and we can all go like and comment on it. So you like have people that are supporting it. Like we're all here to support each other.
Okay.
Any questions though with anything?
No, I love that. It's really cool.
I love you.
It was really interesting how, you broke it up really simply. Set up, once a week, once a day. But it was really interesting when you say that you basically make an agenda for your whole month. And that's, well, maybe we need to start step by step, but I'm really curious about how you do that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, start for you guys. Like, and I know we'll each have phone calls. So, like, when you guys sign up, we'll each get like some phone calls. So we can do like, what is your offering or something like this. But yeah, like I'm offering like 4 or 5 things a month, like in different ways. So for me, if I was just to like wake up every morning and be like, okay, like let's do this, like wouldn't really be organized. But I've grown my platforms in different ways to be utilized that way. So don't like, that's what I'm saying. But I would say, with looking back on my own experiences, like I wish I would have done like, okay, here's 30 minutes a day, or here's 1 hour. I'm like, on Friday, I want to launch, like I just had a client who did my 1 month like social media thing. So I have like once a week, I work with you basically on like this more in depth. And we were doing that, and she launched like her first Facebook like closed group, like a membership area. It was like $11 a month, and within like a month, and then she got like 4 or 5 people that signed up. I mean, that's like $55 extra a month. I mean, for just starting, that's amazing. Like, yeah. And that's reoccurring. And so she got that, and then she also did. She offers poetry. So she like channels. She talks to you for 15 minutes, and like she'll channel 2 poetries for you that are like mantras you get to have with you, and that's like her like one-on-one thing that she just started. And we did that in like a month. Then she got 1 person to sign up. So that's what I'm saying. But it's because she was like, okay, I'm going to be consistent about like, hey, I'm here to do this. I'm here to do this, and it doesn't need to be like 50 million things a day. Like 1 post a day. Like 1 to 2 posts a day, and then you can take a break. Like it doesn't need to be. That's the great thing on social media. Like it organically sits there for people watching, and just creating consistency in it. So, any personal questions about any of your stuff? I know we all have calls, but I just want to make sure if there's anything at all, I'm able to answer them.
We're good. Thank you.
Good. Gabby?
That
Good? All right. All right, then this will be recorded, and I'll put it in the Facebook group so you all can access it. And then I have calls with 2 of you today, I believe. And then we'll have the next call tomorrow. And I'll just be recording there. If there's any questions, you can just type in there and let me know. Yeah, I'm just so excited for all of you. And thanks for letting me be part of your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.